Now we're going to move on to the finals, which will be Yogzototh and Drone versus Flipstip and Norm. And yeah, I'm sorry. Well, okay, that was not the best of matches. I mean, it was kind of drawn out, gotta be honest. So we're gonna have, like I said, that finals starting up. I think the first map is gonna be Iceland. And then it'll be loser's pick from there. Best of 5, not best of 3 as before.
So our finals are Flip against Yogzototh. Yog.
And Drone and Norm.
Oh yeah, those two.
They're important too. You can't forget them. Well, you can, but it's kind of rude.
Why?
I don't know, it just is. Oh. Scotty wants you banned for whistling on stream. I guess it was a little bit bright. A little bit sharp in the ears. Okay, Flipstip and Norm doing some biological breaks. I don't really have anything to do. I probably should, but I don't know what I would do. So instead I'll just handle the administrative stuff of advertising and setting titles and so forth. Alright, so that is...
This is a best of 5.
Yep. Although the players are fairly even. I mean, Flipstip and Norm are a little bit worse. A little bit, not by much. Norm and... sorry, Yogzototh and Drone, it's still probably their game.
I hate to say this, but I think Norm is a bigger, how do you say, vulnerability than Yogzototh is. Easier to exploit, makes more mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I think Flip and Drone can keep each other busy for a long time. In the end, I'll give it to Drone. But then Yogzototh is just better than Norm.
Alright, so, oh, we have new people in here. Okay, hello Resonance Arcade. This game is 0K. If you played Total Annihilation, you have a bit of an idea of how it works. Basically, it is a game where you build up from a single commander unit, you build up factories, those build up units, and you go around the map getting resources. Like, the resources are mostly territorial. Well, one resource is territorial, one resource you can build anywhere, and then you use that to build units. No real special abilities, mostly focused on unit projectile physics, unit movement, positioning. Not so much on special abilities, though quite a few units in 0K do work like special abilities. Like some of them will lock units down, slow them down, freeze them. And it's also a game where there are many different types of units. There's about 11 factories, each of them which you can start out with 1. So It kind of works like factions if you're used to that way those work in other RTS games. Otherwise, it's fairly straightforward RTS. It is, and you'll see how it works. This is a 2v2 tournament, so it's a little bit different. Usually, the games I'll cast will be 1v1, but this is 2v2, which is relatively close. So yeah, as you can see on the map here, so these areas here, this is your metal spots. You build metal extractors on here to get metal. You also can build power plants to get energy. You need both to build units and buildings. And you need units and buildings to destroy your opponent's units and buildings, and you need to do that in order to win. Unlike Total Annihilation or Supreme Commander, killing the commander is not death. Commanders only provide some build power, some metal, some energy. That's it. They don't actually win or lose you the game if you have them. Oops. Anyway. Now the game itself has started. Sorry, I'm talking to people on Twitch. There's people who just got on Twitch. I think they saw a Twitter post I made about the finals. Probably people I know through Skullgirls. Anyway, Flipstip going for early scouting. I guess it'll be a bit more newbie friendly in this one. So Flipstip going for early scouts. This is also of the finals. Drone and Yogzototh. Sorry, Yogzototh going for air. Drone going for light vehicles. Going for darts. Actually,
both.
Yeah, both of them, in fact. Light vehicle and air versus light vehicle and air. Light vehicles are not surprising. This is a very flat map, so it makes sense that you go for light vehicles here. Cloaky bots are also used fairly frequently, but light vehicles they're a perfectly sensible choice. And air, of course, with the way the map is set up, where you have easily defended areas in the back. Getting that air start, this is what Yogzototh and Google Frog were talking about. This is the thing that's less likely. This is real people. Sorry, these are real people playing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
On big maps, air is always good because they're fast, simple as that. So you can cover a bigger area, easy to intercept, easier to make use of the speed. The bigger the map, the more important the speed of your units is. And the fastest unit is the aircraft. That's how it works.
Yep.
Given that there's something to do on the rest of the map. Out of your start location.
Okay, so... Anyway, right now we're starting out with Norm setting up some Swifts, basic anti-air aircraft, trying to make sure that, well, both Yogzototh and Norm are going to be fighting for air control. They're trying to get that, and then once one of them thinks they have air control, they're going to go for bombers. And they're going to use the bombers to try to take out usually the opponent's commander, sometimes the opponent's metal extractors, sometimes, rarely, the opponent's factory. And that will be kind of how it goes for a little while. And at the same time, the two ground players, Flipstip and Drone, I believe, are going to be... They're going to be jockeying for territory, trying to get as many metal extractors as they each can. And once they have... In this map, it usually doesn't get to the point where it splits down the middle. A lot of the time, it gets to the point where it splits down the middle, and then you're trying to work from there. But that is kind of tricky. So, sort of the combination of the two. At this point, Norm is kind of behind. They're losing Swifts right from here and there, and Hawk coming in for Norm. They really wanted to keep the air control. Go over the Hawks instead. Hawks cannot attack ground as Swifts can, but they are much better somewhat better anti-air. While at the same time, nice, wow.
That's
nice
a really
harass from Flipstip.
nice pickup, yeah.
I mean, scorch or die, but totally worth it. Getting rid of that expansion attempt, stopping Drone along the south side.
Getting a constructor is always a big deal so early in the game. But it's funny to see how the Norm's construction aircraft managed to live and get those outer maxes. One on the island and now on the top north.
Yeah, that is a huge deal. I mean,
and it's only now that Yogzototh finds out about it.
Just the one in the south, too. I mean, they're going to pick that one off, but the ones to the north? Defenses are being set up beforehand, but still, the one in the north is still a nice plus 4.5 metal. Or about plus 5 metal.
Indeed, but...
and this is spectated, by the way. It's myself and FlorisXIV are spectating a match between Drone and Yogzototh over here.
Ouch.
And Flipstip and Norm over to the west. So this
is a couple of those...
this is real Swifts. And live. This is happening right now.
This is really real.
This is a real-life match, not like the replays I normally do.
Yogzototh just lost 4 Swifts.
Oh.
To the Hawks and the Crasher.
Yeah, so at this point it looks like Norm is well, air control's relatively even. We have 2, well, okay, it's even, but Norm thinks they have it, so they're switching over to Ravens. Actually, both players think they have it. Both players going for the Raven switch. Norm was a little bit ahead. They called it a little bit sooner, but at this point, yeah, it's going to come down to whether or not those Swifts really work out. This is going to be risky. It's going to come down to where they place those bombers and where those Swifts happen to be at the time, or the Hawks in the case of Norm. But if those Swifts and Hawks meet up, then yeah, the Hawks are going to win. And Drones Commander up front. Norm with their bombers, getting rid of some of Drone's harassment, which is nice. That's definitely what they needed to do. Keep Flipstip around. Make sure they don't get smashed up. But at the same time, they want to make sure that Norm has... Okay, now we go. Norm and Yogzototh meeting up, and Norm is going to have a much easier time here. Looks like getting rid of that... Is that a construction? Oh no, getting rid of a Lotus, my mistake. Getting rid of a Lotus, trying to get rid of the bombers as well, which is a little bit of a trickier option, and that is really risky. Hawks goes into the ground, smashed up by us. Both Swifts are actually going to take out the Hawks. The Hawks are dead. Both of them dead. Crashes, however, coming in to try to deal with that. Anti-air vehicles to deal with those Swifts, which is exactly what is necessary. Yogzototh's commander getting hit by the Scorchers, which might be dead.
Yeah,
there we go. Bomber finishes off.
I didn't expect that. I thought he escaped it, but he didn't.
Nope, that bomber came in at the last second.
It's a good point to look at the income. Flip and Norm are quite ahead.
Indeed they are. Wow, drone. Wow, that's... Yeah, Yogzototh, despite getting ahead in terms of in terms of military somewhat, Yogzototh, well, now they've lost their commander. That's another big blow. But even before losing the commander, they had the economic disadvantage. Yeah,
without those fighters on top of that commander, you lose it.
And Drone's commander is also going down to a Scorcher dive.
It's 2 commanders down. That's
wow.
It's 8 metal. Wow.
8 metal and 12 energy, just like that. So yeah, that's the thing the commanders do, is 4 metal, 6 energy per commander on top of everything you have on the map. But at this point, blue team has no commanders left. They don't have the build power, they don't have the metal, they don't have the energy. And they're behind. They're way behind. I mean, militarily they're about the same if you discount the commanders, which in Flipstip's case, I think the commander's actually pretty far forward. Yeah, Flipstip's commander is far enough forward that I don't know if you could discard them. I mean, beam laser and radar module, they actually have a decent amount of knowledge of what's going on the map. Or at least what's in front of them. On the other hand, with Drone and Yogzototh, I don't think... Yeah, they don't really... They know where one of the commanders is. They know where Flipstip's commander is, and they'll want to bomb it out. And that's actually what they're trying to... No, not trying to do that at all. They're trying to get rid of some of this anti-air. Or some of these Scorchers. Rather, not the anti-air. But now... I don't think... They can't get Flipstip's commander. There's too many defenders, too much anti-air around there. It's...
Well, it's just 3 defenders.
It is 3 defenders, but there's only 1 bomber. Hey, there aren't really many
2.
Ravens. Oh, yeah, sorry. 3, actually. That's a bit more threatening.
I think that's exactly what you need.
Yep. And Norm switching to ground, switching to Cloaky in the northwest side of the map, having moved their commander there prior.
But Drone really picked up the economy game.
Oh yeah, Drone's going for the center.
Tower lower right of the map.
Oh, that too.
And now it's up to Norm or either Flip to get rid of it. I think
Norm is taking care of it.
Could focus a bit on bombing the economy now instead of commanders.
That's what Norm is doing. Taking care of the defenses first to allow for some ground forces to get in, and then once the ground forces can get in, then it'll just be everything's destroyed. Although at this point, ground forces are being stymied by Drone's own ground forces. Drone Scorch is coming in trying to stop Flipstips, and one thing to point out in this game is always important to note. Units they perform better when they're retreating. If they're retreating, they end up running away from their enemy's shots. Whereas if they're advancing, they end up running into them. It doesn't quite follow the laws of physics. Conservation of momentum is not simulated in the engine, and that is the side effect. That retreating is the advantageous position. You want to retreat. You want to attack away from your opponents. Which is weird for Scorchers because they actually deal more damage when they're close to their opponents. And it looks like Flipstip's commander is... Oh. No, that wasn't Flipstip's commander. That was just... That was the Scorcher
no, the
attack
just
force.
come in. Yogzototh really took back the air.
They did, but at this point, Drone's still losing. I mean, Drone has even
No,
economy
he's
as
doing just
Flipstip
fine.
and Norm, but they're getting attacked. It's just that those defenders, that would be the problem. You can't get through those defenders easily. Yeah, you're right. Norm has kind of lost air control, and it looks like Flipstip is trying to help bring that back with the Crashers, trying to get the anti-air in there. But Yogzototh
So what
pretty
are
much
they
has it.
doing? They're just spending a lot of resources on turrets, I think. I don't really see that 26 metal per second going anywhere.
No, Norm is... Well, there are some scythes. Actually, quite a few scythes. But there are a lot of defenders. I mean, the entire northwest side of the map is a defender nest. Flipstip has a defender nest over in the center. Flipstip's commander has gone off. Where has Flipstip's commander gone off to? I'm not like... Oh, there it is.
Flipstip's
Yeah.
commander, it's in the north.
I see it. I definitely see it. Right by the scythes that Norm has, and Norm looks like they expect something in the center north, and they are not going to find anything. They're going to be very disappointed.
He needs something to deal with the air.
Yeah, besides just
Heavy
the
investment in
crashes are okay, but-
fighters or AA trucks or something.
Yeah, if Norm pushes everything into... I mean, they're pushing a lot into size, but yeah, if they push everything into Hawks.
But he gives away his little... The few fighters he has, he gives away.
The few remaining fighters, yes. The sides coming in, trying to be careful, trying to avoid these trying to avoid the slashers. They want to avoid
also,
getting tagged.
grouping up those scythes together only increases their chance of being detected.
Yeah, and they are about to be detected. Oh, 2 of them got detected.
Yeah, now they get bombed.
And the other 2 get detected accidentally
Yeah, waste of 1,000.
because of the slashers. Ouch. I think that's the turnaround. I think at this point, Yogzototh and Drone, they have taken the advantage. Those sides were a big deal. They were quite powerful, but...
Flipstip could use a vehicle factory in the center of the map. It takes him a very long time to get his reinforcements.
Yeah.
And it's hard for him to react with the correct type of unit each time he sees either planes or Scorches coming or something.
Although the one thing is Yogzototh does not have an air pad, and they could probably use that. For the amount of bombing they're doing, it would save them tons of time. And Norm deciding to raid on the ground, which not a terrible idea with Glaives. I mean, the bombers can't easily take care of them.
He has plenty of fighters. You can't do this type of stuff.
Oh, that's
when
true. The
there's some
Swifts
fight.
can take care of them. The Ravens can, but the Swifts most certainly can. But at this point, I mean, there's hammers coming in, which isn't a bad idea. Trying to push that in. Whereas everyone else, I mean, there's... Well, Ravagers are coming in. But only a couple of them. Scorchers as well, but they haven't really done much. And Drone is taking the middle of the map. This has split down the center. This, although the area to the north is pretty much unavailable. No one can really take that easily. And yeah, this game is kind of like Supreme Commander, as I mentioned before. Total Annihilation and Supreme Commander are the same style of game. There are differences, but Supreme Commander is the spiritual successor to Total Annihilation. While 0K is a game that was based off an engine that was based off a Total Annihilation replay viewer that was initially used just to play Total Annihilation in full 3D and then developed from that. So this is more of a fork of Total Annihilation, while Supreme Commander is a spiritual successor.
Yeah.
But back to the game, because history is interesting but not relevant. Not in this particular instance. Flipstip and Norm still ahead economically. I mean, as we've mentioned before, Flipstip and Norm need that economic advantage to be even. They have a tendency to throw units away, and if they have the economic advantage, they can get away with it, as they currently do. Norm has...
Combat vehicle!
Oh. Where?
The Doma Matrix.
I know what you're talking about, I just don't know where it is. There's many things in the
The
map.
center.
Oh, from Drone! Oh, I thought you were saying that Flipstip had that.
No, Drone is Doma Matrix.
Oh yeah, so it does. Oh dear.
Now move those crushes forward. You have a riot unit, that's good. Licho! I mean, Wyvern. I mean, nuclear bomber.
Yeah. Only killed 1 hammer though, that was a bit of a waste.
Yeah.
Didn't really work as expected. And the crash is on top of that.
They just don't manage to kill that lower right side. I think they should be able to. If Flipstip focuses all his resources on taking down that lower right corner, he should be able to. It's hard for them to defend. They can only use their air.
And that air is gained.
It's easy for Flip's vehicles to get there. He has the anti-air trucks.
There is a repair pad finally. So that air is getting heavily damaged. The Swifts coming in. Oh wow, the Swifts are going to take care of the Hawks pretty quickly. I mean, the Wyvern,
I don't get it.
Major target. I can see why you want to get rid of it.
Yes, that's it. But it will cost them all as fighters.
That's 2,000 metal.
Yeah.
Is that worth it?
How many? That's about 8.
Yeah,
Hawks?
that was even. That was an even trade by cost. But that's also no more air control once again for Norm. They have lost their air control with the death of those Hawks.
Now he loses all his anti-air trucks. That's kind of bad.
Yeah, the anti-air trucks are just... Although the Dominatrix went down, at least. Yeah, the anti-air trucks, the Crashers, you need those. In this situation, especially given that air control has been lost once again.
Now there aren't that much bombers left and not much fighters. Yeah, it's time to hit that lower right corner.
And
with
it looks
Ravagers
like
and whatever.
They are setting up. I mean, the Wolverines are moving forward. The Ravagers are set up.
I think I would build 6 Ravagers and then reinforce with darts. Just send them along, and when the Ravagers are almost in the fight, you start to build darts and set the exit point of the factory on the Ravagers.
Oh. Never heard that one before. Well, anyway, the Wolverines and Ravagers doing a nice job of tanking through the defenses. That's pretty much opened up the entire south area, come to think of it.
They won over this area. I didn't expect that.
Oh yeah, the north. Well, they took it pretty strong. Once the hammers didn't die, they kind of took it. Like after that fight, not because of the hammers, mind you, just that fight happened to be the one that pretty much sealed it for them. And at this point, yeah, Drone slowly but surely is losing ground on the south side of the map.
Yeah, Yok going to defend with his planes. Yeah, well, he didn't bring the air truck. There are a couple of anti-air trucks in the center that should be in the lower right corner.
Yeah, I mean that's... Wait, where are they? Oh yeah, they're right here. Actually, they're in the north.
Point of his factory.
They're at the very north.
As a general tip, if you hotkey your factory, you can just move the exit point of your factory as you're microing your units in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
You should always...
These things. Oh, I see. Drone has a ton of crashers. Flipstip only has like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Although Drone's going to be losing a lot of them, but still.
Just 3, 4.
Drones are still... Their days are numbered.
Oh, a new Wyvern?
Yet another one, but even then, even with that additional Wyverns... Wherever it is. Oh yeah, it's being built. Even with that additional Wyvern, it's going to be tough.
Chainsaw just outside of the range of the enemy air factory. If you would move it...
down goes the Wyvern into the... Well, okay, not the
that would be so funny.
Yeah, if it actually damaged things. That is one difference between Commander. Units falling into stuff doesn't actually damage them. I don't think. I'm fairly certain that a corpse smashing into something doesn't...
Commander has any real physics.
Actually, it does. It totally does.
Yeah, but not for units. Only for projectiles.
No, I think if units... I think at least larger units, if they die and fall on something, they destroy it. Or they damage it. Units actually deal damage with their corpses. That does not happen here, though. Unit corpses are made of styrofoam. Now, Stardust over in the south side of the map. Yogzototh very keen on making sure that Drone does not lose that area. And continuing to make Stardust further north as well, just setting up a line of Stardusts. Really difficult to deal with, but at the same time, that's a second Wyvern that's just died for free. Or, there we go, yeah. That's died for basically free.
One bomb.
That's 4,000 metal every time that happens. Or 2,000 metal every time that happens. Yep, 2,000 metal.
The killing does not come for free.
No. And it
usually
costs 2,000 metal worth
of
death.
But the chainsaw is really annoying, although it cannot hit a factory.
Still. What the... One of the claws got dominated.
Might be time to bomb that dominatrix.
Yeah, or it might be time to set up larger bombs in general. So, oh, well, Strider Hub, that works too. I was about to say, it might be time to set up something like, you know, a missile silo. Or a silencer.
Drone is mossing up ravages.
That's why I meant a missile silo, just burn them all down. Burn them all. Why not? But anyway, the Ravagers are pretty scary, though. There's about a dozen of them so far. All of them belonging to Drone from the looks of it. And all of them going north, wanting to deal with this rather pesky little expansion attempt. There is the missile silo.
Drone's attack.
Yeah, the drone's attack coming in here. This is pretty much do or die. If this, I think this is going to make it, though. Like,
Yeah,
if this doesn't...
I also think he'll make it.
Yeah, if this doesn't, there's not much left to be said, but I mean, the crashes are taking everything.
Yeah,
It kind of comes down to whether Norm can come in, but I think this missile silo is dead. I don't think there's any way it's going to be built up. Kind of, I mean, it's not the best place to really put a missile silo, all things considered.
Yeah.
But I think you can put a missile silo, if I'm not mistaken, you can put a missile silo... Yeah, you can put a missile silo all the way back here by the Strider Hub and it would still hit the factories. You don't have to put it where it was built. Although it's not destroyed yet. I mean, it's not being damaged very heavily, and even then, Flipstip is still securing this territory and Drone's losing a lot of units in the attempt. Yeah, clutch LLT. And then with that, the missile silo will still be able to be built, and there's not much to stop that.
It was the reinforcements.
Although Drone coming in with a shield ball, coming in with thugs to reinforce. There are levelers, however, so that's already kind of pre-countered.
It doesn't have a felon.
No, it doesn't. So the thugs can just, or sorry, the levelers can just tear it apart, or the leveler can just rip it to shreds, and the hammer can help. But yeah, there's not much here in the south. I mean, it's been Flipstip is not really damaging too much, but they're coming through. They're inching through, and that's game.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, whoa, no, not quite. No, Drone is not ready to throw in the towel.
He doesn't agree, Drone.
Yogzototh's done, but Drone is not. I don't think it really do anything, though. I mean, the Caretakers... Once the Caretakers are done, they're probably going to either build a missile silo or just reclaim for money. And Drone agrees, finally. Okay, that's death. Move on to game 2. Don't tire yourself out. Alright. So that is game 1. And game 2 is going to be now Drone Yogzototh's map choice. And I have no idea what map they're going to pick. Oh, thank you, by the way, for Resonance Arcade. I appreciate the kudos on my commentating. I'm glad you like it. And
why? How can I get chat in Hitbox?
Oh, well, this is actually Twitch
chat. Do I need to sign up?
I have a program. I don't know if you have to sign up to see chat, to type in it, yeah. But I have a program that actually shows both Twitch and Hitbox chat simultaneously, which is quite nice. So I can see what people have said. Mostly people talking about some games they play.
I'm getting all these weird URLs that want to connect.
Oh.
That want to execute JavaScript on my computer.
Oh, they're probably just viruses. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll just end up being a botnet to take down some random webpage somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, but in the end, the fifth layer got me chat.
Oh, okay.
It's really interesting to see how these things work.
I was about to say, you might want to make friends with your local Interpol officer, you know, just in case.
Yeah, I asked my neighbor, but...
You have a neighbor who works for Interpol?
Yeah, of course. In the Netherlands, everybody lives to someone who works in Interpol.
Wow. That's kind of terrifying. It's total police state.
Or there's just one guy with a very big house.
Who houses everyone who works for Interpol in the Netherlands?
Yeah, for example. Or it also depends on your definition of neighbor, I guess.
Oh, okay. So you just have a very broad definition of neighbor.
Yeah, but in this case, it's the house next to me.
Ah.
He never admitted, but I'm sure he is.
See, I thought
Anyway,
for a second
I
you were
have
just
jet.
defining your neighbor as people who live in the same country who work for Interpol.
No. Usually those are people that live next to your place.
Ah.
Or beneath or up. If you, in case you're in a flat.
I am, actually. And there are people above, below, and beside me, but no one can hear me and I can't hear them.
Which is
I
good.
live in a concrete box.
If they were Interpol, they would have been able to hear what you were doing.
Yeah, probably. Right, so we're on Eye of Horus now. That is Yogzototh and Drone's choice, which is really not that surprising, come to think of it, because Drone quite likes this map. I forgot about that.
Is there a way to get timestamps on the chat in Hitbox?
You don't? Yeah, I'm sure there is. I have them, but then again, I'm in my moderator mode. I think there's a settings thing. Is a sort of a vertical ellipsis. Click on that and then just click show on timestamps.
Oh, awesome. Oh, hello. Timo. But yeah, last game. I didn't expect it, to be honest. I'm not really sure what happened.
Well, basically what happened is that Yogzototh didn't keep their air control efficiently.
No, he did have.
It. And then, well, they also
he actually had air control for a big portion of the game.
They did, but they weren't using it efficiently. They were throwing it away on Lycos. I mean, Wyverns.
Yeah, he made 2 Lycos that only dropped 1 bomb each.
3.
Or 3 even, yeah.
And the other thing was just the general fact that Flipstip and Norm were able to get their economy up early meant that they were able to just get the units they needed to grind away at Yogzototh and Drone's military and economy eventually.
Hmm.
So we're on Eye of Horus now. It is going to be Drone in the south with Yogzototh. Drone going for Cloaky, no surprise. This is a very Cloaky popular map. Yogzototh going for the eastern side, light vehicles. I used to say that the eastern side was the one that you're less likely to see, but that's no longer true. It's quite the opposite nowadays. The eastern side is the more popular one. The western side, I don't often see players go for that in 2v2. Usually the center player will just take it afterwards, but it seems like it's harder to hold. Whereas the eastern side, it's harder to expand to, whereas the western side is easier to expand to from the center. So that's probably why it's being done that way. We'll see what Flipstip and Norm do, though. I'm curious what they're going to go for.
I really wonder how much thought usually goes into the construction of a map. I think it's more like there are everybody builds maps, and every mod plays all the maps, and some things just stick and others don't. It's more like an entropy thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, Norm is going for the eastern side, which was equivalent to the western side before. So they're going for the easier to expand to side, leaving the northwest side a little bit harder to take.
But they're both using the same factories. Cloaks.
Yeah. Although vehicle center.
Vehicle.
Vehicle center for north, cloak center for south. That does make a bit of a difference. At this point, Flipstip's going to have a bit of an easier time just clearing out the west if they have to. It's going to be slightly easier for them to explore that area. On the other hand, Norm is going to have a much harder time doing anything aggressive beyond the center line.
York is the one with the vehicles. I can't remember his vehicle game. It was usually Drone doing the vehicles.
Yeah, Yog's do the air. But at this point, it's not quite the case. Now, it's kind of weird, though, with the ELO values, trying to figure out what players' ELO values are because they get changed during the tournament. Because they get changed as they win tournament matches. It's like, wow, they're so even because Flipstip and Norm have been winning games. They've been clutch games, but they've been winning, so their ELOs have been going up. Like, what's the relative strength of these players again? Well, I mean,
Drone and Yogzototh still have a lot more ELO.
Yeah.
About 100 more.
That's true. But that's also fairly close. Ooh, nice attack from drone around the back. That's what I mean by you take that west side of the map and it reduces that entire lane of harassment. Actually, that cuts off most easy angles of harassment. There's sort of an angle along these hills, but that's about it. On the other hand, with Yogzototh and
I see a problem with this constructor in the lower left and that incoming Scorcher.
Yeah, that will be a problem. But it's also an easier problem to deal with, and it's harder for that Scorcher to do much. I mean, there is another glaive attempt, and actually the glaive is going to kill the... Come on, kill the metal extractor. No. No, it doesn't. It fails to do so, which is rather unfortunate, but the next set of glaives will. It only took 2 glaive corpses to kill that metal extractor. A poor trade, really. But Scorcher coming in should be able to get rid of the Conjurer. Ooh, just misses it. Yogzototh going to try to guess where the Conjurer went to, and... Sorry, Flipstip, I mean. Going to try to guess where it went to. Target ground. Does not guess right. Bit of a problem there. And we do have another worker kill, though. Norm nicely harassing. Losing another glaive, though, but still kill the worker, stopping him from expanding.
Yeah. This is why a group of glaives is so powerful. You can do either early game very frequent raids with either 1 or 2 glaives, or you just wait a bit and mass up 5 or 4 of them. And overrun LTs and other glaives.
The only thing I don't agree with is the fact that they aren't, I mean, they're kind of expanding. Flipstip and Norm are kind of expanding. They are pushing to the center, but they aren't taking the western side, and they really should be. Just to make sure they reduce that line of harassment, and they also get that economy that's fairly easy to defend if they have something near the center.
Don't tell me that the constructor is going to live.
No, it's not going to live.
No.
It dies. It dies, but it tried. It almost lived. And it looks like we do see Flipstip doing exactly that. They are actually starting to expand over to the west side of the map. But yeah, Norm's going to have a slightly harder time getting a pretty big economy going. I mean, the economy is partially shared, so it's not the biggest deal, but still. Slight issue. And Yogzototh pushing Flipstip away. Flipstip, of course, was retreating, so slight advantage, but 2-on-1 does not get any difference from retreat micro. So you still lose.
Oh boy. Another glaive gets through.
And, oh, Resonance Arcade is... Oh, I see. I guess Resonance Arcade must stream stuff. Yeah, Nginx actually works pretty well for Twitch and Hitbox. You just have to make sure if you're not on Windows 8 that you have to set a registry key related to your TCP send window. If you care about it, I can tell you more details, but there's stuff on OBS that talks about it. That's how I figured it out. If you're on Windows 8, it's fine. You have no problem. If you're on Windows 7 or earlier, then you will have a problem. That's the problem.
And if you don't have Windows?
If you don't have Windows, I think you'll be fine. Actually, if you don't have Windows, then OBS doesn't exist for that. Nginx does. I don't know if Linux has that same send window problem. It probably doesn't. Linux is probably fine. macOS I don't know, but macOS does have OBS multi-platform, so it does handle that. I'm pretty sure it does handle multi-streaming. Because
again, Drone managed to get through with glaives and deny that top left corner, and he's been very persistent about this. 3
glaives doing that too. That is impressive. Because those glaives are going to go over to the north, hit the geothermal, and then going to go around back here to harass probably.
On the other hand, he's been trying to do the same all the time, but he gets shut down as well.
Oh, no, never mind. The glaives are going to go down. They did not retreat. At the same time, we're the east side of the map. We do have a nice tick shot. That was Clone Stick. Or sorry, Norm Stick. Yeah, that was Norm Stick. Yeah, not a bad tick.
That commander is going up. Now we see the Sys versus Slasher.
And they worked this time!
No, they don't.
Oh,
There's a commander and defenders.
I was thinking they actually dealt some damage as opposed to last time where they were caught out and did nothing.
I think this is pretty bad from Norm.
Yeah, Norm, I mean, the thing is, Norm is in a position where they have...
resources now.
They don't have enough resources. They didn't start with resources. They started on the side of the map where they had hardly any.
He also had a lot of solar collectors and other stuff in that area that he loses now.
That's true. The east side of the map being lost is a big problem. And Flipstip is harassing what they can of drone, and actually, I shouldn't say what they can. They're doing a nice job. They're very, very Wow, this is probably going to be stopped by the defenders. That's the only thing
Yeah.
to stop it.
Drone didn't let...
Oh yeah, totally gonna stop it.
Drone didn't let...
Oh yeah, totally gonna stop that for defenders. Man, if those glaives had hit
he got killed there 3 times in a row.
If those glaives had gone to the Scorches beforehand, they would have died. With all the defenders there. And it looks like you're probably gonna see 1v1.
But still, I think York is doing a pretty good job here with these slashers. It will be hard for Norm to stop this. He needs help from Drone. Drone should stop focusing on these raids because his ally needs help. If he pushes through with these slashers and supports with scorches, it will be hard.
I think Yogzototh is probably going to crush center. There's nothing defending center. The commander's going to be knocked down by the slashers. Drone attacking the west side of the map, and they went around the defenses, so that's kind of done. I mean, there's no defenses further up. The drone, however, assuming there are defenses, and they are running away. There are no defenses there, but that's fine for Flipstip and, well, Flipstip primarily. That's fine for them. But at the same time, the center is just falling. And Glaive's coming in the center. Scorches coming in the center, or Slashers coming in the center, not doing much. Glaive's coming around the side. Drone forced to retreat.
Nice attack by Flip. I mean Norm. What is he doing on the lower left corner with his Glaives?
I don't know. This is a terrible move.
I'm really glad he's there, by the way. Because those Glaives have nothing to do on the right side of the map.
That's true. I mean, they're going to get themselves killed, but there's still a lot of
just as well can use them over here.
Yeah, they might as well die over the west side of the map rather than the east side of the map and tear apart some defenses in the process.
Will he get everything?
Yes.
Yes! But now he needs to kill the cons.
I don't think they're going to kill the
economy will still...
No, they kill one. They're not going to kill the other, though. The Scorch is going to stop them.
The Maxes will live.
That's whoa, that was close. Okay, both Constructors die. Well, the Maxes are around.
Yeah, still a good pickup.
Well, yeah, if they get round 2, Norm gets in again, or Flipstip gets in with Scorchers. There aren't any defenses anymore. So that's a big deal.
Oh boy, that's a big waste of Glaives on the
Oh man, yeah, you have to 6 Glaives can kill a commander if they encircle it. If they get it from all sides simultaneously.
There's an LT.
Yeah, and there's no LTs or any other defenses
there are
whatsoever.
Slashers in the back. Slashers in the back. Now there is the aircrafts for Drone. Became time. I expected this a bit earlier, actually.
Yeah, normally 6 minutes in is where air switches usually happen. But this is a bit later. Mind you, this map
Drone
works
and York
well.
still, they have the better economy at the moment.
Yeah, they do. That's really bad for Flipstip. Like Flipstip and Norm, they don't handle low economy situations well.
Norm handles the defenders and slashers with hammers.
Well, that's the correct option.
Oh, an HLT and a cloaking device. Huh. They must have got one from their Romulans.
Wait, where?
Over here. A Romulan cloaking device.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Sneaky Pete. That is the thing that comes up occasionally. Ooh, are they going to go for tick drum or tick throws, I guess? Not tick throws.
I guess so. He might throw in, if this thing gets up and he throws in ticks when all the slashers and stompies will, ravages get in.
Yeah, so that way you can just eraser the ticks in, and at that point you don't have to worry about it. You just rush them in. Bit more effective with roaches, but it works with ticks too. However, the sides coming in here from Yogzototh, that's going to be a big problem. And at the same time, Flipstip's con goes down, or comm goes down. That is a blow. That's a pretty major blow, given how even, well, they were fairly close in economy, and now Drone and Yogzototh is pulling ahead. I mean, there's a bit of an economic, or military, not even advantage, a bit of a position advantage, I suppose, that Flipstip and Norm have, maybe. The right set of force multipliers might work. Like I said, the eraser alongside the tick, maybe? I don't know. That's still pretty tricky. Drone coming in as well with more sides. So sides from both Yogzototh and Drone, along with Yogzototh's entire vehicle force, should, well, be a big threat. I don't know if they're going to be enough to kill. The scythe is definitely going to be a problem going north. And here come Yogzototh's scythes. Are they going to go for commander snipe? I don't think so. That would be a terrible idea. That would not work.
But they know they're there.
Yeah, that does give him away. That was a bit of a mistake.
Uh,
The Yogzototh has no easy way
top
of
team really needs his
getting
own
in.
air.
That would work beautifully, because now at this point, well, we've had some bombing out. We had the bombing out of the commander. And at least if the commanders died, that would be a blow economically. I mean, it wouldn't be that big
They're
of a blow.
slowly
But
losing slowly. Top.
yeah, well, Yogzototh's commander is cloaked anyway, so good luck finding that.
Level 3 commander, wow. It got
Yeah,
a
that's Yogzototh.
concussion shot.
Yogzototh often makes level 3 commanders, if I recall correctly.
Oh, it's dangerous, but they do not have air, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah, and then Drone's commander is still level 1, I think. No, level 0. Not even upgraded.
He gave up that position in the on the right center, Yok. He could have held it easily if he didn't move out with those vehicles to the center.
And yeah,
It's good that Norm saw this opportunity and went for it.
and by the way, yeah, the colors are the player cursors. And yes, this is a spectator mode. This game has full spectator support. Really good spectator support too.
Oh, look at all those planes of drone. So that's why he doesn't have any ground units left.
Well, yeah, but at this point there's a lot of gremlins which are throwing themselves away. Why are the gremlins going forward with everything else? Oh, I guess to defend it. That makes sense. I guess I just figured the cloaking kind of defends
What is
you.
that commander doing? I guess he's up to something sneaky.
Yeah, well, it's a cloaked commander. I think that's pretty sneaky already. It's kind of the definition of sneaky, really, if you think about it.
Unless your name is Pete.
Well, it isn't anymore, because that's an eraser now.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it morphs. It's moving. It's also doing a nice job, too. Getting close up. Oh, just don't auto-fire. That's the only problem. These should not be on fight. These should be on hold fire. Never auto-fire with cloaked units. And the eraser has been revealed.
Oh, that's a lot of warriors, actually. Don't push any further. You're not going to win it. Retreat.
No, no, you're not going to win. The only way you could possibly win would be to make the best use of the cloak. And that wasn't happening.
Just push in until you're dead. That's not how you play Zero, okay?
No, that's how you play Nada.
Just take your wins
game.
and emphasize.
So yeah, those warriors are dead. They might get some kills in the
Yeah.
process, but they are very dead. And that eraser going down is the bigger problem. I mean, if that eraser stayed, they remember to hold fire. That's the thing when you're going in there. You gotta hold fire. And over to the north, we do have the Glaze coming in. Over the east, we have Yogzototh Commander still being sneaky. The Glaze in the north, one metal extractor. That's not great. And that's about all that. I don't know. Yogzototh, what are they building up here? Oh, Spider Factory. Okay, that was a sneaky plan. Getting a crab probably up in the northeast side of the map. That would be the most likely idea, I would think, at this stage in the game. And otherwise... Yeah, why? Okay, there are we... No, we're seeing the spider switch from Yogzototh. We don't see air switch. Why have Flipstip and Norm not gone for air? It's 14 minutes and 15 minutes in the game. And there's no air control being contested. There's, well, some Swifts, but, build up half a dozen Hawks and you've taken it. I don't know. Makes very little sense. Probably fatigue. That's the only thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, we'll have to give this one to the drone team and the Yok team.
Yeah, well, they took it. That was a hard-won fight too. I mean, it wasn't like they were.
Well played by Flip, by the way, especially in the first half of the game.
Yeah, the harassment going on there, that was quite well done. It was just, unfortunately, Norm losing this eastern side of the map did not help any. And then, I mean, there's some clutch attempts like the eraser, but that's a comeback maneuver. Already at that point, you're behind. The main problem was getting behind in the first place, which really came from, I think, possibly lack of good stack defense positioning, maybe, and also they dealt some damage with harassment, but they didn't damage economy all that much. That was a big issue. The Yogzototh the drone just slowly creeping forward.
Yawn.
Yeah, I know. It's 6 in the morning, or 6:30, or Whatever time it is.
Yeah.
It's time in the morning. 7:15. That's what time it is.
The thing is, I'll have to go after this game as well.
Oh, you will?
Yeah, I have to leave in about 40 minutes and have to pack some stuff.
Oh, okay. I don't think Sactoth... No, Sactoth has not popped yet. Oh, we're seeing a bunch of redbacks. Redbacks, hermits... I don't even think it's going to get to this stage.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And Jumpbot Factory, because why not? Coming into play. Does that really matter, though, at this point? I can't see what the Jumpbot Factory would do. Sumos, I don't see them doing much, honestly. Not on this map. And in come Yogzototh's cloaked, sneaky spiders. Proxy spiders. I mean, does Norm even have knowledge of this? Well, they do now with the radar, but yeah, they didn't. And down goes Norm's commander. Yeah, that's game. Tricky strategy, but it worked, and that seals it. 1-1.
It didn't really matter what he did. He could have made...
It didn't matter, but it was still... It stopped the game.
And it was a good way to stop it. Very interesting.
Yep. Alright, so you're heading out?
That's about it.
Okay.
Good game. 1-1. Now I don't know who wins the tournament.
Nope.
Jesus, a lot of spectators. Good God.
Well, there always are. 30 or something. But there's... And then there's, I think... 17 or so people between Skype and Hitbox. I mean, sorry, between Twitch and Hitbox. Anyway, that is... That was game 2. We're moving on to game 3, which will be Flipstip and Norm. They choose the map. No clue what map they'll pick, but we'll be going on to at least game 4 before this is all over. Alright, intersection. That is the... Wait, what? No, that's Barber's choice. Oh, no, never mind. They like it.
But really, I should be going.
Okay, well, in that case, see you. Thank you for helping.
Yeah, you... Good luck with the rest of the tournament. Maybe you can find someone else. Is Kane still about?
On Kane, I don't have their Skype. And I don't know if they're even on right now. They're probably asleep, honestly. I mean, they're North American.
Huh.
They probably weren't awake. No, they're not on. Yeah,
well, it is what it is.
Choice, but whatever.
I'll log on back in about 6-7 hours.
Okay, well, I think the tournament will be over by then.
I hope so. And I want to know who won.
Intersection should be a fairly quick map. I don't think it's going to be much... I don't know. I mean, it's possible to drag on, but Intersection usually doesn't. It's like Titan
Not
Duel.
for 4 hours, no.
No. I mean, game 4 and possibly might drag on. I don't know. I mean, right now it's anyone's match. It's like Drone and Yogzototh won the last one, but yeah, it's 1-1. So game 4 could be... It's 2-1 for either player or either team.
Yes.
Anyway, we have Flipstip and Norm. Wow, I just realized I feel really silly. I should be pointing out in the stream somewhere what, like in the actual footage of the stream, what stage of the tournament this is in. Oh well, I'll do that next time. So Norm going for Flipstip going for... Well, Norm is usually going for air. Flipstip going for light vehicles. Well, Yogzototh, air and drone light vehicles. Once again, another mirror. Slightly surprising there. But yeah, that is... I guess not that surprising. But yes, once again, we see more air, so definitely airplay this time around. There's a lot more air, less everything else. So this map, for those of you not familiar, it is a fairly small map. It primarily focuses on resources in the corners. The center is very difficult to defend and it's easy to take, hard to hold. You end up seeing a fair amount of back and forth play in the center with people who take the corners typically keeping them, and the main base you basically don't assault until the end of the game. That's kind of how it works. So both players are both teams should say, setting up. Drone and Yogzototh, well, Drone trying to see, Yogzototh already has. I mean, Yogzototh already probably knows exactly what's going on here. I mean, they had their Swifts were running over. Norm definitely knows what's happening, so this is well understood, what's going on there. But Flipstip, oh, just about to take this southwest. That is a bit of a problem. And Drone, nice setup with the scouts, making sure they know what's being set around, but Norm on top of that doesn't let that scout, the door would have stopped this metal extractor from being constructed, so that was exactly right. That's exactly what needed to be done. And Flipstip expanding forward quite nicely, as is Drone, so both teams, quite even in how they're playing. Like, they're basically expanding about the same rate in about the same places. Although Norm very quickly moving with her commander over to the, with a crane over to the northeast side of the map, while Yogzototh does not have a crane. None. They're entirely going for Swifts. This is a risky thing with the crane, but I think it'll pay off, especially with the Swifts around to defend it. On the other hand, Flipstip, they have that metal extractor, they have the ones up front, and now they're going for the center, while Drone, they're also, actually they're not going for the center that quickly. They're building up power plants, they're setting themselves up. So Drone is taking this. Taking this about as quickly as they can, but like I said, it's fairly neck and neck. A lot more power for Yogzototh, though. They're getting a ton of wind generators. Wind generators here have a minimum of 0.6. Definitely worthwhile to get. Drone, on the other hand, has enough energy to power everything, but they don't have a whole lot of power structures. And now, to the center, Drone, actually, Flipstip, yeah, Flipstip's already got Scorchers there. Bit risky, though, because Drone is trying to set this up. Yogzototh is trying to help attack, but they pulled away. They pulled out. And Norm, nice and set up. Over to the northeast side of the map. The southwest side of the map is being set up for Yogzototh, but also getting attacked directly. So it's coming in, won't be able to deal too much damage, though. Scorcher and Slasher, on the other hand, that will be death. That will get rid of it right away, and then after that, the question is air control. And this Hawk is basically dead. It cannot get out of there. It's gone. But then again, so is that expansion over to the southwest. But at the same time, the northeast does not have many Swifts covering it, which means it is not going to be easy to keep. As long as Yogzototh or Drone don't try to take it, it'll be fine. But Yogzototh is going straight for it right now, so Norm is not going to be able to hold it for very long. And at the same time, Drone taking the north, while the southwest, that Slasher is, well, it's stopping anything more from coming in. But Norm's commander is in a tight spot, needs to move out, trying to retreat over here and then jump up this hill. They're trying to get here and then do a jump after it's, oops. Like, do a jump from here onto the hill. But it doesn't really need to do that anymore. That's been gone. Drone did not care to snipe the commander. Drone just wanted to go kill off the metal extractor. Just grind away at that. Now it looks like Flipstip going around the back trying to harass, and this is actually really free. They need to do this. Like, Flipstip should go around and do this. This is a free harassment. This metal extractor is completely open, and it's getting only less so by the moment. And at the same time, Norm's expansion has been discovered. Yogzototh starting to expand there as well, and Flipstip trying to build up, well, get a small force, not enough to deal with the commander, mind you. Get something small there to deal with it, try to block it out. And Drone taking the center. This is a big deal. Drone is pretty much able to take and hold the center. And this These are idle. Why are these idle? These should not be idling. That is a major problem because there have been free expansions. Okay, there we go. Now it's taking the metal extractor. That could have happened a couple minutes ago. And even then, it's just... Flipstip actually didn't manage to take it. Just barely, but yeah, it gets spotted out. That did not time out well. There's a bit of a problem with the timing there. But like I said, it's something that could have been done far sooner and wasn't. However, expansions are still being done, so at least that's good. The Flipstip and Norm are still expanding. They actually aren't being harassed out that much, come to think of it. Yogzototh seems much more focused on getting rid of anything that Norm tries to put in the sky, and Drone... Well, Drone is not really taking anything. Drone is taking the center. They don't care about the sides. Yogzototh is taking the sides, but they aren't taking it that aggressively. I mean, they're taking it metal extractor after metal extractor, slowly but surely. Getting defenses everywhere. Whereas Drone, I mean, they're just tearing everything apart. I think this is... I don't see any way out of this. Drone just took it. Once they took the center, it was already over. And especially since Yogzototh took the side and there was nothing Norm could do about it. I mean, they had naked expansions. Those lasted for a decent amount of time. They paid for themselves. They paid for themselves and then a bit some. But there is a limit. There's only so far they can do. And after that, they're dead. And that happened. And that's exactly what happened. And now Yogzototh sees that metal extractor is going to build a Lotus next to it, destroy it that way, and then take their own. I think. Yeah, Yog's not paying attention to it. But once they do, they'll probably use that. At this point, Norm is... They have a Raven. They're probably trying to bomb out something, but there's not a whole lot of targets that they could bomb out. There's a few. There's a metal extractor here and there, and those are good targets to take. But I don't know how well that's going to work out. Just because if they throw the bomber forward, then the bomber's going to probably get shut down. So the shield bot switch makes a lot of sense. Possibly going to go for Vandals. Possibly going to go for Thuglaw Ball. Like, Thuglaw Ball seems like something that could actually push these Scorchers back, push this whole force back. But Drone and Yogzototh has been just going from corner to corner, making absolutely sure that nothing is being built. Double-checking everything, which is exactly what they need to do. It's a great thing to do, and once again, Drone comes into the north side, north center with the Scorchers, taking out Flipstip stuff. Flipstip over to the west side of the map, once again going south, trying to take out what they can, but there's more static defense than anything else. And that static defense is going to be a problem. But anyway, Flipstip is... No, they're not that set up. This is pretty hard. Like, Shieldbot, like I said, Thuglaw Ball makes sense, but it's still going to be quite some time. I mean, Norm only has 11 metal. So they can only build this at essentially the normal rate. They don't have any overdrive or very little overdrive. They're trying to get more, which makes sense. That's exactly what you want to do. But even with that, even with the additional overdrive, it's not that big. These are 1.7 or 1.6 by default. So with the overdrive at plus 27%, like 2. So it gets up to what is typically considered normal on most maps. Not particularly encouraging, all things considered. And with the massive line of defense that Yogzototh has been building, I mean, Yogzototh has been just doing a creeping expand everywhere. Drone's been much more naked, but it doesn't really matter. They have defenses regardless, and they have moving defenses in the form of slashers. There is very little that Drone can do to lose the game. Like, it's not even that naked, honestly. It's naked compared to Yogzototh, but Yogzototh is possibly over-defending. It's just that at this point it doesn't matter. They have the economic advantage. They can just take it. So that's pretty much game 3. I don't see any way out of this. What I do see is that Flipstip and Norm might be tiring themselves out by trying to play this out. I mean, I mentioned before about tenacity. You want to make sure that you're not giving up too soon. But bear in mind, I did say for the last game, before you get knocked out. Before that, you might end up tiring yourself out. I mean, it's good to think about tenacity, but it's also good to think, are you going to tire yourself out? If you tire yourself out by playing a game, If you win, that's nice. If you don't... Oh, Roach, nice. If you win, that's nice. If you won the tournament, if it was match point, then great. That's exactly what you needed. But if you only won one match and you still have more matches to play, you might have ended up causing yourself to lose by being too tired. Always good to keep that in mind. Alright, so gonna have game 4. There we go. There's the resign vote. So game 4 will be up in just a moment. Flipstip and Norm have to choose the next map. Intersection wasn't a bad choice, but they just didn't get... The problem basically boiled down to they didn't get the expansions that they needed. Like they got some of them, they didn't hold them. That was a problem. They really needed to do that. So anyway, I'm going to just be back in a moment once they choose the map, so stay tuned. Welcome back, 0K fans. This is Shadow Fury 333 with Game 4 of the finals of the 2v2 February tournament. This is Drone and Yogzototh versus Flipstip and Norm. Drone and Yogzototh up 2-1. And we are on Inculta Wet, which is an interesting choice. I would not totally have expected this to happen. I mean, we're not talking about Rhymark or Google Frog here. We're talking about Flipstip and Norm, but we'll see. They might have a trick up their sleeve. Anyway. Oh, what did Yogg say with the map choice? Oh, I didn't see the reaction to the map choice. Sorry, I was out getting something to eat, so... Oh, yeah, okay. Yogzototh really doesn't like... Good night, Resonance Arcade. Yogzototh really doesn't like sea maps. They don't like underwater combat. That's worth knowing. L, that's the word I'm looking for. So Yogzototh just trying to figure out what to do. Drone going for Amphib. Norm for Shipyard. Flipstip for Amphib. And Yogzototh going for Shipyard as well. Okay. Very far north. This is surprising. Normally they go in this cluster of nexus. This far north is unusual. So if Yogzototh really hates sea that much, this might go on to Game 5. Which is, of course, exactly what Flipstip and Norm want. I mean, if they win, then they have a chance to win the whole tournament. So this is ideal for them, in theory. So they're playing, I guess, more off of what their opponents hate rather than what they like. Although I think Flipstip does actually like sea decently. Not sure about Norm, honestly. But Flipstip I'm fairly certain does. Anyway, Flipstip is setting themselves up pretty nicely. Norm has quick skeeters coming in. Actually, Norm has a pretty healthy mix going forward. Yogzototh just going for skiers. Early Constructor really wants to get the economy going. While Drone, on the other hand... Actually, they also went for Early Constructor. So yeah. The eastern side going for early economy. The western side going for early attack power. And some early defenses. These skeeters are kind of dangerous too, I gotta be honest. This isn't... one of those things where it's kind of tricky to really... What the... Oh, right. I guess I have to select them. That's how it works. Yeah, skeeters are kind of dangerous, but at the same time, they're not as powerful as they say. Their power is disarm. That is their main power. But the problem is that they can't hit underwater, and they can't really deal any damage. So they're going to be somewhat useful against Yogzototh's forces, but against Drone's forces, they're useless. Like, utterly useless. They know that the forces are there, they know the ducks are there, but they don't actually have any way of shooting them. For that, you'll need hunters. Or snakes. Typhoons, similarly, don't have any way of shooting down on underwater units. Like, it's just... that's... Oh wait, can't see it? I only can see some of them. Yeah, they can see them somewhat, but yeah, they can't shoot on underwater units. But anyway, Flipstip, I mean, it doesn't really matter. This is actually Yogzototh's. This is Yogzototh's Typhoon, so above ground stuff, it's fine. Below ground, or below water stuff, not above ground. On water stuff is fine, below water stuff is going to be terrifying. But the snakes, well, snakes and skeeters tear them apart. I mean, Norm has their snakes and skeeters set up. I'm not sure how much practice Yogzototh actually has with the current sea. They're getting hunters, which is a good idea. That's a wise thing to get, certainly. Otherwise, though, I'm not really sure what else they can do. And they have the hunters. They don't have any snakes, but then again, it kind of makes sense to go for the hunters when their opponent's gone for amphib and snake. Like entirely gone for underwater stuff. Well, go for the theoretically anti-underwater unit. I mean, it's supposed to be an anti-submarine unit. So let's see how that works. And the answer is, it works okay. But don't be careless. That's basically the answer in a nutshell. It works okay, don't be careless. And Flipstip and Norm, well, sorry, Norm is just the only one doing the C here. And I was going to try to disarm this thing. Although the commander, that's the one problem. The commander is actually getting hit very quickly. Flipstip losing their commander very early on. Like 3 minutes into the game, 3.5 minutes into the game, and Flipstip's lost their commander, 13 metal per second. They were on par, actually. Like, everyone was about even, but Flipstip losing their commander means the advantage goes to the red team for now. Flipstip might be able to pull something out, but at this point, they do not have that commander. They do not have that build power. They do not have that, well, not firepower. The firepower was almost irrelevant. Commanders can't do anything firepower-wise unless they're on the hills, which there are few of them, so yeah, good luck with that. But at the same time, Norm with the snakes, trying to go for a revenge kill. Well, maybe trying to go for a revenge kill. Do they know? No, they don't know. I send the skeeters around trying to figure out what's around, but they don't actually know that the commander's there. They will soon find out, though. And that will be a pleasant surprise. Once they get rid of the urchin, at least. And the commander is right there and ready to die. Because commanders have no way of fighting back underwater. They used to. There was a torpedo launcher, but then it was gotten rid of because being an upgrade meant that you basically had a commander that was you had to have to be useful underwater, but you could only use it on a map that could be underwater. And it was a weird way of playing with the module system that didn't work nicely, so it was gotten rid of months ago. But anyway, good raid. So at this point, Flipstip and Norm have managed to even things out a bit. Getting rid of a commander on the opponent's side, allowing them to get back to economic parity. Still slightly behind militarily, but otherwise about the same. Yeah, Yogzototh going heavily for the hunters. Which means Flipstip's almost completely countered. Enough ducks won't be a problem, but yeah, Flipstip is almost directly countered. Just because of this. Now, on the other hand, Norm, I mean, they have a lot of snakes. That's sort of the problem. The skeeters work fine. The skeeters work great. But the snakes, not so much. It's just with enough... because of the skeeters, with enough skeeters, the hunters can't actually do anything. They're too disarmed to do anything. But it takes about 10 shots to disarm a hunter with skeeters. So it's still a tricky proposition. That's just also because of slow snakes end up having, but like, that's the thing, is the status effects on units underwater is really nice. It's a really neat setup, but it's also a little bit tricky to work with. You have to remember that you have status effects, you have the slow, you have disarm, you have ways with the basic units, so you have ways of dealing with this and possibly reversing the counter triangle quite nicely. This is, of course, I mean, the thing with the counter triangle, the thing with the counter structure in water is a little bit weird. Oh yeah, Scuzzy was pointing out that the problem was also with underwater commanders, that they just became heavy underwater combat units, and that commanders with heavy combat units is generally a problem. And that's, oh wait, it's the only one. Yeah, okay, it's a good point. Okay, apparently that's actually the only one. There are no other heavy underwater combat units in the game. At all. Everything else surfaces to fire. Which is actually one of the hard parts about playing amphibious bots on this map, is scallops and ducks work fine. Archers and boys have to surface to fire. Boys are okay doing that. Archers tend to be unpredictable. They fire and they just shoot themselves into the air while they're hitting their opponents. And then they drop down into water again. It's a little bit awkward. Anglers, I think, can work, but that's only anti-air, and Grizzlies can't even surface to fire. They have to get on the surface. They have to get above water to fire. Yeah, Amphibs basically Scallop and Duck. That's basically the Amphib game. Fortunately, Norm trying to get some shots in, but not able to actually do so. Loses units, unfortunately. And has to be careful about these Scallops, too. They don't want to run into the Scallops, because if they run into the Scallops, that's kind of death. The Ducks, I think, can counter Scallops underwater. Scallops actually do a decent job against the Hunters. That's the one thing. Scallops are essentially skirmishers underwater, but they're riot units on the surface. So Ducks will beat Scallops underwater, but will be beaten by them on the surface. Hunters, on the other hand, will just be beaten by Scallops, period. Forcing Yogzototh back. However, Yogzototh and Drone are getting slightly ahead. And Drone has switched over to Rapiers. Not a whole lot of anti-air exists. I think is there a Shredder? No, there are no Shredders in production. There are no Anglers in production. So nothing really exists as anti-air. There are Typhoons, though. Quite a few of them, actually, for Norm. And Norm is going to go for a very heavy surface attack. Might be useful against the Rapiers. The Rapiers are going to be attacking, trying to deal with damage they can. I mean, the Typhoons, it's more that the Typhoons are going to shoot in the general direction and hope for the best. Actually, not do too badly, despite the fact that they don't have exactly an anti-air attack. Just to have enough bullets that it really doesn't matter. Unfortunately, it does matter when the Rapier starts shooting on them, and that's death. They have nothing left. The torpedo launchers going down. The big thing about the torpedo launchers is that it means Drone can come in with the Amphibs. Well, Drones basically help themselves, but they can come in with the Amphibs afterwards. The torpedo launchers won't stop them. And then that'll basically end it. So at this point, like, Norm only even partially knows what's going on underwater anyway with the sonar. They just lost their sonar, by the way. And an air switch from Norm, wise air switch, but at the same time, those Rapiers have dealt a lot of damage. At this point, Drone and Yogzototh have twice the military, just about. Like, it is going to be very difficult to work with. Well, Yogzototh moves forward with the Hunters and... Wow, okay, yeah. Yogzototh's moving forward with Hunters and Typhoons. Unfortunately, the Typhoons can't really do much. Norm's commander, I think he's trying to get on the surface. Has a beam laser. If it gets on the surface, that's going to be a problem for the Typhoon. Well, sort of a problem for the Typhoons. And there it goes, on the surface. Finally able to deal with the Typhoons, but then the Typhoons can also finally deal with it. Still, the commander does out-DPS the Typhoons. But the Typhoons end up just ripping apart everything else. So this is really not working out too well. And at the same time, over in the northwest, Banshees from Drone getting torn to shreds, but they've already torn apart most of the power infrastructure that Flipstip had set up. The Banshees tear that apart, and in the center of the map, Flipstip with Scallops trying to get rid of the Hunters. Almost was able to sink one. There we go. There it could sink one. Had a little obstacle in the way. Yeah, the Hunters need to get out of there. They're not going to be able to do too much. The Scallops can do a bit. The Scallops can help. As can the as can the Ducks. But really, this is kind of problematic. And Trident's around for Drone just to make sure the anti-air doesn't get in. Well, the air-based anti-air at least. There's no ground-based... No Shredders yet? Seriously? That is surprising. No Shredders. I mean, they're Hawks. Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. But there's no Shredders or Anglers. I guess they really are relying a lot on Hawks, but these Tridents, that's going to put a damper in that. And a little skirmish in the center of the map. Scallops doing a decent job. Well, Scallops here for Flipstip are actually kind of getting ahead. Especially with Flipstip's torpedo launchers. The Rapiers are damaging them, but at the same time that gave the Hawks time to get in. But now the Tridents getting rid of the Hawks. The Tridents should be able to get rid of most of them. Or... no? That's surprising. No, the Trident's actually going down in the process. So the Hawks turn out to be the best bet. However, there is in fact a Shredder from Yogzototh, not from Norm, but Yogzototh was on the ball with this one. Still, unfortunately for it, Scallops coming in. And this is one of those weird sketches where you see people, or sort of comedy sketch, or I think it happens in a movie where it's, someone comes in, kills somebody, and someone else comes in behind them, them from surprise, kills them, and then it keeps going backwards and backwards and backwards. I think there's a loading ready run sketch like that. I think there's been a few different people doing sketches like that or stuff like that in movies. I just can't remember any offhand. But that's what it makes me think of. But yeah, over to the south we have Tridents once again versus more Hawks. And Trident on a Hawk is apparently in the favor of Hawks, which kind of makes sense. Hawks are meant to be air superiority fighters. That's even the name, air superiority fighter. That is the point. If they aren't superior in the air, they aren't exactly doing their job. Now, are they? Tridents, on the other hand, are just anti-air. Anti-air gunships. And Yogzototh, once again, with the same cloaked commander. Same cloaked beam laser commander. Are we going to see a fancy cloaked factory? I don't know. These conscious might run into it. Yogzototh's not paying attention there. Yogzototh is paying more attention to this area in the center of the map, where they have ultimately won against Flipstip. A lot of wreckage. They have the Mariners there to take care of it, too, which is great. Always good to do that. Always should have workers with you. No. In fact, it is Stardust. Stardust in the top left corner of the map. The Yogzototh taking territory with those. I'm glad to see this being used too. I haven't seen this being used enough recently. I quite like them. They've been used more often, but then there was a short period in the last couple of months where they stopped being used. And I was disappointed. Because they're cool units. Or buildings, rather. And Crusaders from Yogzototh, another good choice. Also, they are anti-sub units. They have depth charges. I mean, the Hunters do a decent job with that, but the Crusaders, they have the range advantage. Actually, is it depth charges or torpedoes? Yeah, depth charge. So, at least Crusaders have the range advantage on them. And they can get rid of the torpedo launchers from range as a result. Now, Norm, not to be outdone, also goes for this, and also goes for Shredder on top of that. So, Crusader and Shredder from both sides. The sea game has been relatively even between them, but the underwater game, I don't know, Flipstip hasn't really been able to take as much advantage of that as they'd like to, while Drone's just gone for air. Total air dominance. Even with the Hawks, even with the Shredders, I mean, it's still... I mean, Drone is below water and in the air. So they can take care, as we can see, take care of Shredders with Scallops, and they take care of everything else with Rapiers. That's working out very well for them. I mean, at this point, I don't really know how much this works. And yes, of course I know who Loading Ready Run is. They're on the island. I don't think you understand where I live. Like, where Loading Ready Run is, Loading Ready Run, or those people, they're in Victoria. Victoria's on Vancouver Island, which is about, I think, 100 kilometers west of where I live. So they're a ferry ride away from where, or they're like an hour drive and ferry ride away from where I live. I've never actually met them personally, but they're that close. So yeah, you know, support fellow Canadians and all that. And they're also quite funny, so to boot. Anyway, Flipstip is going down. Like, Flipstip is surrounded. Norm is trying to help, but they have gone too heavily for Ravens. They don't have enough ways of dealing with the air. They really never, they kind of did for a while, and now Yogzototh, I didn't even notice that, going for a hovercraft switch. This probably should have happened sooner, honestly, for either player, just going for the hovercraft switch, just to have, I mean, the hovercrafts can hit underwater, or Gauss weapons can hit underwater, so that's an easy way of getting rid of a lot of this stuff. Like, a lot of scalp, because the scallops are skirmishers, so getting rid of that underwater, and that is, oh yeah, sorry about the bright, that bright light is the sun, which, you know, this map really doesn't have a very good skybox, all things considered. Yeah, sorry, the sun's tendency to reflect in the water. And we do have, the funniest unit in the game, well, the most amusing, comical unit in the game when it does stuff, the Claymore. Because it has a tendency to blow itself out of the water and fly everywhere. But anyway, that doesn't matter, that is game. The game has ended. Yogzototh and, sorry, Flipstip and Norm have lost. Yogzototh and Drone are the winners, 3-1. Finals, February 2v2 tournament. Congratulations to Yogzototh and Drone for having won. Well done, you two. And congratulations to Flipstip and Norm for getting second place. And congratulations to Skazi. It would have been Skazi and Yogzototh instead of Yogzototh and Drone. To Princey and Clone for a bronze match for winning third place, and then Manu and Julian, you get fourth place. Although I don't think 4th place is counted for anything. But yeah. No, I think it is, actually. So yeah, well done. Thank you all for participating, and that was... Yeah, in real life, the reflection of the sun would in fact be more annoying. I suppose I could turn... I probably should have turned the brightness off, too. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was informative and entertaining. It certainly was an interesting set of games. It finally showed off what air starts can do. Because the last few 2v2 tournaments, air starts weren't really coming up, and Yogzototh and Google being the main gameplay gameplay designer, and Yogzototh being another game designer on this game, but also my co-commentator many times. Not today, they weren't there today. Usually they're a co-commentator. It's like Floris, Yogzototh, and I both were surprised at the lack of air starts, and now we finally get air starts, and Yogzototh's not even here to entertain it. To see it and be entertained by it. But anyway, that is the tournament. That is how it went down. So I hope you enjoyed that. Once again, I've been Shadowfree333. Floris was on earlier. So that's who was the voice before. Well, the voice with me before. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night, everyone.